Hello, everybody. Welcome back to X-Plane 11. Once again, today we are in Cincinnati and we are going down to Fort Myers in Florida aboard Delta Airlines with this beautiful Sky Team livery for the Zibo 737. Been really enjoying the 737 by Zibo. That is the reason why we're flying it. I will tell you this is a 737-800, 737-800. It's not a MAX 8. No need for any comments about the MAX airplane. It's not what we're flying. So that is the reason why we're able to fly the 737-800 series, and we are going to fly it today. That's what we're going to do. So 35,000 feet on the way down there. We have a few more things to do in the cockpit. They're ready to push. They've got everything set right there. Chocks are gone. We're ready to do this thing. So let's head up into the cockpit, get a few things situated, and we'll greet the passengers.
Folks from the cockpit, I'd like to welcome you on board. We're ready up front. Everybody's closed up outside, and we're just waiting to get some of our performance numbers and the clearance from air traffic control, and we should be underway. It's our pleasure having you on board with us today. Sit back, relax, enjoy the flight. Should be underway here shortly. Thanks for flying with Delta today.
Okay, they're ready to go out there, so let's go ahead and go anti-collision light on. We'll wait for her to pop everything up there for us. Checklist and procedures before start checks. Flight deck door, waiting for that. We'll do RTO for auto brakes.
Prepare your doors for departure, please. Cross-check and all call.
There we go. We're ready to get on out of here. Still seating people back there. Okay. You got it. Thank you very much. I got my coffee.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Delta.
Okay, door is closed. Let's release that parking brake. There goes the jetway.
Starting pushback.
And they're going to start the push. Okay, we have fuel pumps on. Turn the packs off. And we are ready to start engine number 2. Let's do it. Turning 2. Okay, that's locked. CD display is good to go. N1 bugs have been checked. IS bugs are set. MCP is good to go. Rock and roll with that. That's what I'm talking about. Engine start. We're doing it right now with 25%. Waiting for it. There's 25. Give it a little bit of fuel like that. And we'll listen to the safety briefing a little bit before we head over to runway 27 for our departure.
Please also note that if you will be working on a laptop computer or enjoying any other larger electronic devices, they must be stowed either in a bag under the seat in front of you or in the overhead bins. Please do not stow these items in the seat pocket in front of you. Place them directly on the floor or hold them on your lap during taxi, takeoff, and landing. This is not just a Delta policy, but an FAA regulation for your safety.
Okay, parking brake is going to be set. He just asked us to do that. Let's start engine number 1.
Stand by.
Okay, we'll stand by for that. They're still doing their safety thing. And we're going to add fuel at 25%, of course. But yeah, runway 27, a very short taxi. Won't take us very long to get over there, and we'll get on our way down to Florida as soon as possible. There we are right there. And we got N1, EGT's rising, disconnect. We'll look for the hand signals. We'll see you next time. Pack switches are on the off position right now, waiting for that to come to a stable position before we can close the start valve, or before we can turn the packs back on, and we'll use the gens. So let's go ahead and go Gen 1, Gen 2, turn the packs on. We'll turn off that APU bleed. Trim air is looking good.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal will be on the right. We'll see you next time and have a great flight.
35,000. You got it. We'll see you next time. Thank you for your help. That's good to go. Yeah, we did all that. That's good to go. We're going to be ready for before taxi starts, or before taxi checklist. Set that guy. Start putting the flaps in to 5.
This plane features Wi-Fi, and internet access will be available while we're above 10,000 feet. If you're seated at an emergency exit, please review the responsibilities for emergency exit seating on the back of the safety information card, which is in your seat pocket.
Are you willing and able to assist with the operation of the exit if necessary?
And rudder left, rudder right. Flight controls are free and correct. We can go ahead and make that lower to blank. Gen 1 and 2 are good. Probe heats are coming on next. Do it right now. Boom, boom. Hydraulics are good. Boom, boom. Don't need it. Pack switches are good. Isolation valves, auto APU bleeds. Go into the off position now. Let's go ahead and do. Oh, we already did the APU off, and then the isolation valve, and then the APU itself. Continuous, and then idle. So let's do the continuous. Continuous. Flight idle on those guys. Ground equipment is clear. Flaps are 5 for takeoff. Flight controls have been checked. Lower to U is blank. We're ready to taxi, folks. Let's get on out of here. Taxi light comes on. Release the park and brake. Like I said, going right over to runway 27. Not very long at all.
Loss of power and cabin visibility is reduced. Lights will illuminate the aisles to guide you to an exit. Please take a moment to find the exits closest to you, and remember, they might be behind you. As we come through the cabin for our final safety check, please let us know if you have any questions. And finally, now would be a good time for everyone to review the safety information card, which is in your seat pocket.
On behalf of everyone at Delta Airlines, we want to thank you for paying attention.
Please relax and enjoy your flight.
Okay, we are ready to let them know we're getting out of here. So let's go ahead and go to the wing light. There we go, strobe and steady. There we go, lane lights are on. Turn-offs can come on as well. We're gonna line up on runway 27.
Have a good flight.
All right, flight line is clear. We just have some people using the other runways, the southern runways, so we'll keep an eye out for those, but we're gonna do a lineup of wait on runway 27 right now. Go to takeoff for entering runway. We're good to go on all that. Let's just line up here. That looks nice. And now we wait for traffic to be clear down here on this end, and then we're ready to go. All right, folks, we're ready to go. Let's bring up those engines to 40%. There's 40 and Toga. Add that power. Hold forward pressure on the nose wheel. We got power set. Airspeed's alive.
80 knots.
Cross checked. Of course, there's a world traffic airplane just taxiing, no problem. Nothing new there.
V1, rotate.
Rotate it. Woo, that wind threw us right on up there. Gear up. Yeah, I got a little impatient. They were the world traffic was just non-stop. We would have been sitting there forever. Ooh, man, it's rocky coming out of here, though.
400.
Really windy. That's 400 there. Looking good here. Let's go ahead and engage that autopilot system. Well, wait, VNAV, LNAV, and autopilot is engaged. Looking good there. Comes the nose down. We start cleaning the airplane up. Flaps to 2. And We're gonna keep the flaps in right now. After the turn, we'll bring them all the way up. There's one right there. Let's bring it to flaps 1. And we're gonna make a left over Bonnelly, it looks like. And flaps up. All right, we can go ahead and turn our auto brakes off. Landing gear, go to the off position. We're at 9,500, ready for 10,000 here in a second. Just waiting for it. Here it comes. And 10,000 right on the money. Landing lights up. Ding 'em. There we go. Coming up on 18,000 feet, ready for standard pressure. Here we go. As we cross right through it. There's standard pressure, and that is indeed on both sides. Don't care about that. We are in climate cruise mode. That's good to go. Standard, verified. That right there, good and good. Don't need any of that. We're all set up here. Nice day today. Not too bad. Just a few clouds, and we're going to be above the layer now. And we do have a tailwind. We'll see if it continues to be the case. We're probably just going to have a direct crosswind once we start flying south quite a bit. All right, coming up on 35,000 feet. That is our cruising altitude there. Once we reach it, we'll go ahead and let them know. They can move about the cabin all they want. There it is right there. Let's go ahead and turn that guy off. And we'll let them know what's up.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the seatbelt lights off. You're free to move about. Once you are seated, we recommend you keep your belts fastened. Thank you.
Moving up cabin a little closer. Meanwhile, please sit back, relax, enjoy the trip with us.
All right, a little bit of an update for us here. We're about 35 minutes into our flight. I was a little late hitting the chronometer on our departure. We are getting a nice 38 knot tailwind here. We're about 70 nautical miles to Notwo, and if I zoom out, you'll see a little bit more of the bigger picture here. When we go to Luck intersection, then once we get to Seminole VOR, it's all kind of a downhill thing from there as we get closer to Fort Myers. But we'll be in Florida by then, so not too terribly bad of a flight today. Few bumps here and there, just a light chop, nothing severe or anything like that. So we've kept the Seatbelt sign off. Looking at the weather in Fort Myers, looks like it's 79 degrees currently right now. Winds are 040 at 21 knots, so we're going to be using runway 6, the eastern runway there. Visibility looking like greater than 10 statute miles of visibility. And the altimeter is 3016. Nice high pressure system down there. So that's what we're looking at. And we've got quite a bit more flying to go. But as you can see right here on our legs page, we have a disco after Luck to Seminole. We're going to go direct to Seminole. That's what we want to do. So we just click that guy, go to him, and execute that. And that's taken care of. Keep an eye on our center tank. We're at 2,580. When that gets lower, we're going to have to turn off those center pumps. But as of right now, all smooth. .56 nautical miles to the Seminole VOR, and we're at 70 right now in the center pumps, so let's go ahead and turn those bad boys off. Don't even need to be pulling anything out of the center pump anymore, and we got more than enough fuel in the tanks on the wings to get us where we need to go. Pretty uneventful flight so far. The turbulence has kind of come and gone, but nothing heavy or anything like that. It's been pretty laid back and chill. All right, we crossed player, and now we are almost to E-game here. So let's get the airplane set up for our arrival. We'll go to this guy here. We're going to do flaps 30, 149. You can double click it. I know you can do that. I just sometimes like to punch it in because there's nothing else to do when I'm up here at cruise. ILS is 111.5. Actually, I think that is already ready to go because of a, yep, that's the same one I did last time I flew. So that worked out just fine. And course is 060. So let's go ahead and change the course to 060. That'll do right there. Legs page. Let's see what Dolphin is, 1,500 feet. So that's where we're actually going to go down to. We'll do 3,000 to Tropic, but we're going to do Dolphin at 1,500. So honestly, you can just drag this all the way down to 1,500. And we'll prepare for it. Now, you don't have to do this in the real airplane. It's just kind of a Zebo thing. I'm not really sure if it's even been fixed really, but unless you put this all the way in here and you start your descent about 10 miles before the top of descent, then you won't have any issues with the VNAV and the airplane acting crazy. You can see Florida off to our left there. Beautiful. We did run into some clouds along the way, but we're going to be getting around those, and it should be nice and clear down there. Just partly cloudy skies. The winds are starting to kick up a little bit. They're gusting to about 2-3. But right down the runway, so we'll just keep an eye on our VRES speed. Speaking of VREF speed, what was it? It was +5. So we're at 149 +5. So it's gonna be 154. Let's do that's good to go. That's good to go. Sweet. We'll do auto brakes too. Right there is set. And if we zoom in here a little bit, we're about 25 miles from top of descent. And then we'll start our way down into Fort Myers. Okay, we are at our top of descent. Let's go ahead and hit our descent page. Descend now. There it goes. Well, the airplane's already going to start it. I was a little late on that one. I was not paying attention, believe it or not. But I think we're going to be okay on the RNP. It looks like it'll be fine. We'll probably have to use some drag on the way in, but we have started our initial descent, and we're going to let everybody know that right now.
Hey, good afternoon, folks. From the cockpit, we're starting a slow descent at this time. We would like to ask you to return to your seats, fasten up your seatbelts for the duration of the flight. Been a pleasure having you on board with us. Thanks for flying with Delta there. I can fly attendants. Go ahead and prepare the cabin for our arrival, please.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have begun our initial descent. At this time, we ask that you kindly begin to recheck the security of your seatbelt. And if you've removed any items from the overhead bins, please begin to restow them at this time. Please check around your seating area and the seat pocket in front of you for any cups, glasses, or other articles you wish to discard. And kindly hand these items to the flight attendants as they make their way through the aisle.
All right, below 18,000 feet, we can switch over to 3013 is the local altimeter. That looks good there. Keeping an eye on our descent. Looking good there. We're probably gonna have to throw a little bit more speed brake into it. It's kind of had to put it in there, had to take it out, put it in, take it out. Just keep an eye for the engines to not be surging. You don't want that to happen. Pressurization, landing altitude's good to go. We have it just set at 0 because it's sea level. System annunciator, we're gonna hit a recall there. Looks good to me. Approach ref page, VREF was entered. Radio baro minimums, let's just put them at, let's put them at 200 radio. So we'll have something for call outs. It'll say minimums. So all the way up. Sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. You don't really need it. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. So navigation radios are set and verified. Auto brake as needed. We are on auto brakes too. And the descent procedure checklist is complete. Next is approach, and we're going to wait until we get closer to 10,000 feet for that one. (11,600 feet and descending. We just flew over Venice Beach back there. That was Venice Airport we saw. And this here on the left is Rotunda. Check that out. Pretty cool. Entire city built in a circle. If you ever want to search more about that town, just look up Rotunda in Florida, just south of Sarasota and Bradenton and all that. We're looking good here at 10,700 feet. Nose is starting to come up now to grab a little bit more of that VNAV path. We can always hit this guy to show us the vertical navigation path. And right now, it just seems like it wants to hang out right there. All right, we're below 10,000 feet. Landing lights are coming on. We'd found some clouds on the way in. We'll turn the wing light on as well. That looks good. We'll ding them so they know that we are below 10,000 feet. Yep, there's the visibility drop. Not too bad. We're just like right above this cloud layer. It should be a lot clearer once we get underneath it. We're tad high on the RNP, but I think a lot of that had to do with Active Sky updating, and it threw us for a loop as far as the pressure went. I think it changed over, which I'm going to do a double check on that before we land so we can make sure we have the right baro set. All right, we have reached the unedited portion of this flight, so we are at 5,500 feet and descending for 1,500. And right now, Pastor is what we're going for there. Once we get to Pastor and we start to make that turn towards, what is that called? I think it's called Lenpe. That's what it is. Entropic. Once we get there, we're going to, or after we cross Pastor, we're going to turn on the VOR loc button, so we can try to grab that. I finished out the rest of the checklists. Everything looks good here. And the airport's just off to our left up here. So we're going to wait for that turn over past her so we can intercept the ILS. Looks good. Let's just go ahead and let the flight attendants know they can be seated for landing, by the way. Let's do that now.
Lieutenants, please prepare the cab for arrival.
All right, we told them to get the cabin ready for the arrival, and that's what they're doing right now for us. And we're going to make this left turn here in a minute. Head back, and we're going to go to our checklists, and let's go back to the ILS. Landing ILS. APP roll mode, waiting for it. For a turn over past her first. Here comes the turn. Towards Tropic. And we're going to wait for the airplane to level off, and once it levels off, then we'll do that so we can grab the ILS here. It's not going to be a very good approach, so we're actually going to go to a vector of our own accord to make it a little bit easier to capture it, because at that angle, it could overshoot it quite a bit, quite easily, actually. We're going to continue out this way. Actually, it might be okay. That might be all right. If not, we can always grab the LNAV and then do it again that way. But try not to do it that way. Okay, that looks good. Come on, airplane. Roll your nose off. Yep, C045 at 22. It's gusty. That's why we are hitting turbulence on the way in here. You see the wings flapping out there. All right, VOR loc mode is set. We're waiting to pick that up. So it's armed, and we don't have capture just yet. Waiting for the capture to come to us. Yeah, it's really gusty out, man. There's the localizer. The localizer's alive. We got it right there. Verified. And once we get the glide slope turning pink on us, then we're going to drop the gear and we're going to go flaps 15. But we can start the airplane slow up right now. We'll put flaps 1. Those slats out there are going to help us with our turn. Very nicely done. And now the airplane is turning on the localizer. It's going to try to capture it back to the left. Yeah, I think we were too fast and a little too shallow there for that capture, but that's okay. It seems to be doing all right. We're just monitoring the system. And that's the airport off to our right just a little bit. Man, we are hitting some major turbulence on the way in here. Holy crap. Like, no joke. And we're going to go ahead and turn to the right here as it does capture that. Man, yeah, we're getting beat up on the way into Fort Myers here. And we're going to do the approach mode in a second here. Arm the approach. I'm going to help airplane slow down too as we hit that decel point. We'll go flaps 5 here. There's flaps 5. Ooh-wee. Now winds are at 19 knots, but they are gusting up there a little bit. Just a little bit. Haven't picked up that glide slope just yet. But right now we are 6 miles out. We're going to drop the gear. This may not have a glide slope, actually. It's kind of just doing what it wants right now, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
Stabilized, Mr. Perch, altitude.
All right, let's go ahead and just kill this. I don't know what it's doing. It's going to try to do some stupid stuff here. Auto throttle's off. I've got the airplane. Yeah, I don't think we have a glide slope. Doesn't seem like it. Yep, glide slope. There's the glide slope coming down. I wonder why we never got that. That's crazy. All right, let's get to our rough now. We're flaps 30. We need to arm the speed brakes here in a second. Man, a lot of stuff happening here all at once. Gotta love it. Still a tad low. Had a little more power there. Yeah, glide slope. I know. Because the airplane just kept descending down past 1500, which is really strange. Not sure why it did that. That's okay. We'll fix it. Get up on that VREF, man. When you change over from the auto throttle to your regular throttles, it's a little tough sometimes. There we go. Much better. Now we're more stabilized. I wasn't expecting that approach to be so crazy. Man, yeah, those winds are just crazy right now.
500.
Rather be a tad high than low. So we're all right now.
400.
There's those wind gusts. Look at that. Jumped up to 2-1 there. That's what gets you. And that's what gave us all that altitude when that happened.
200 minimums.
Landing. And good old world traffic. We're it's going to throw an airplane on the runway as per usual.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Hey, we'll take it. Considering the conditions. Yeah, world traffic just never fails. You have an airplane just sitting on the runway. I just ignore them whenever I do my flights. It's cool to see the other, you know, airplanes out here and stuff. That's the reason why I use it, but I don't worry about them too much. They don't affect my flight. Make our right turn here on the high speed. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fort Myers, Florida. That was a bumpy arrival. I'll tell you that right now. Slow way on down. All the way off to the side here. We'll turn our landing lights off. Those can come off. Oh, they're already off. Taxi light comes on, I mean. There we are. And then we can go wing light off. Start the APU. That looks good there. Baggage clean, blah, blah, blah. I hear them talking about that back there. All right, now we'll taxi in. Oh, there's an airplane behind us. Turn off the strobe lights. There we go. Let's taxi into the gate. By the way, that prop plane is still sitting over there. He has not taken off or moved. And there's another airplane that was coming in as well. I thought I brought my flaps in. I guess I did not. Whoa, hello. What are you doing there, crazy? Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Tug. What are you doing? You moving? Yeah, it's moving. We're going to wait for this thing to move out of the way. I don't know what the hell it's doing besides just getting in our way. Well, it's good to know we have runaway tugs. I don't know what the hell this thing is doing, but we're going to go around it. You can't write this stuff, folks. You cannot. Get around the morons that are driving those things. And we are going to park straight ahead to the left. Right over this way. That's a long flight, man. Coming up on an hour and 54 minutes from when we did it. Yeah, we'll go right into this one right here where this marshaller is. Turn our taxi light off and then park the airplane. All right, he gave us the X there. Parking brake is on. Let's go and go APU, APU. Shut the engines completely off. All the way off. All the way off. There. It always hangs on to them. Let go of it. Thank you very much. Anti-collision is off. Let them know they're good to go. There we go. Fantastic. I made a few mistakes on this flight, that's for certain. But hey, you know what? That's what happens. That's what happens sometimes. Where we're just having some fun, and that's all that there is to it. The APU bleed is good to go there. We turn these guys off and just leave that one on. And turn those off. Window heats can go to the off position as well. Probes off. Trim air can go off as well. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fort Myers. We made it in one piece. Thanks for flying with us. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.